lead us in the pledge. So you'll come on up, and we'll do our moment of silence, and you can lead us in the pledge. All right, thank you for that.
Attention, salute, pledge.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you all for that. All right, so we're at the number 3 public input. We have anybody?
We do not.
Well,
Mr. Chairman, before you move on, I just wanted, we have the youth leadership, several students here from youth leadership class, and we also have Jersey County adult leadership classes here observing our meeting today, so just want to recognize.
all right, thank y'all for being here. And I'm sorry y'all had to take pictures with some of us. All right, so we're on excuse me, I've got a frog in my throat. The approval of the agenda, and we've had some additions and some subtractions on here. So I think everybody has this field trip for DECA that needs to be added, and then the minutes from the special call meeting. And then the director asked if we would be able to add this under new business, the special courses planning document, so we can get that approved and out there. Thank you. And so that would go under new business, if that's okay. And then from the policies, Mr. Ibbotson had said that number 1.403, it was kind of mistakenly put on there. It was just for information in the actual meeting. So number 1.403, agendas, if it's okay to remove that one. And then number 12, under policy 6.702, student clubs and organizations. So is there any objection to adding those and then removing those particular policies? So then we have unanimous consent on that, then for the approval of the agenda. So that would be add the field trip for DECA, add minutes from the special call meeting, add the special course approval as number 2 under new business, and then remove number 1 and number 12 from the policy committee stuff. Did you get everything there wrong? Okay. All right, so then that takes us to the consent agenda, which would have the approval of the minutes from the January 9th meeting, the special call meeting, and then the field trips for the JCHS Science Bowl team and the JCHS DECA. Is there a motion to approve the consent agenda?
So moved.
Danny has made a motion to approve. Paul has seconded. Any discussion? All right, we'll vote. All those in favor of approving the consent agenda, show by raising your right hand. All right, 7-4, 0 against. Consent agenda passes. Everything's situated here. And then that brings us to number 5, committee reports. Remember, we've struck 1.403 and 6.702, and I think Mr. Ibbotson wants to approach these one at a time, so.
Yeah, we had a pretty busy policy committee. What we found is there were a number of policies that were submitted by board members,
and we're catching up with a lot of policies from legislation that was passed in the last state assembly session that we're now bringing our policies in conform with. So the first one that we're gonna, by the way, all the ones that I'm bringing up have been approved and passed by the policy committee and are now in front of the full board. The first one is policy 1.404, appeals and appearances before the board. This is one that we approved, and it is to add public comment to our work session and public comment at that work session on any subjects related to the school district. So, be passed by the policy, so moved, Mr. Chair.
All right, so Mr. Evanson has moved to approve 1.404 appeals to an appearance before the board on the first reading. Since it's coming from the committee, it doesn't need a second, so is there any discussion? Hearing none, we'll vote. All those in favor of approving 1.404 on first reading, show by raising your right hand. That'd be 5-4. All those opposed? Got 2 opposed, so that passes, 1.404 passes on first reading.
The next one is number 3, rules of order. This again passed the committee, and this is to add the moment of silence and the Pledge of Allegiance to the work session, and to change the budget amendments from where they are presently on our board agenda to after new business. So moved, Mr. Chairman.
So it's been moved to pass 1.405 rules of order on first reading. Since it's coming from a committee, it doesn't need a second. Is there any discussion? All right, all those in favor, show by raising your right hand. 1, 2, 3, 4. All those opposed? We have 3. So 1.405 rules of order passes on first reading with a vote of 4-3. That brings us to the next one there.
This is policy 4202. This adds lines in your revised to 2829, and this brings us in compliance with regulations that have come down from the State Board of Education. And this is this was suggested to us by the TSBA. So moved, Mr. Chair.
All right, so the motion is on the floor to approve 4.202 on first reading. Is there any discussion? All those in favor of approving 4.202 special education on first reading, show by raising your right hand. That'd be 7-4, 0 against. 4.202 passes on first reading.
Next one is number 6, policy 5118, background investigations. Again, did I skip one?
Yeah, it's out over there, 4.603.
Oh, I'm sorry. My mistake, sorry. Yes. Okay, 4.603, promotion and retention, again to accommodate the changes for the State Board of Education, suggested to us by TSBA. So moved, Mr. Chairman.
Motion been made to approve 4.603, motion and retention on first reading. Is there any discussion? All right, hearing none. All those in favor of approving 4.603 on first reading, show by raising your right hand. 7-4, 0 against. Motion for 4.603 passes.
Number 6, policy 5.118, background investigations. Again, it's to accommodate new legislation TSBA suggested. So moved, Mr. Chairman.
Move been made to approve 5.118 background investigations on first reading. Is there any discussion? All those in favor of approving 5.118 on first reading, show by raising your right hand. 7, 4, 0 against.
Number 7, policy 5.302. This is to allow bus drivers and monitors to carry sick days over to the following year. So moved, Mr. Chairman.
Motion's been made to approve 5.302 sick leave on first reading. Is there any discussion? All right, all those in favor of approving 5.302 on first reading, show by raising your right hand. 7, 4, and 0 against, motion passes.
The next one, number 8, policy 5.303, personal professional bereavement and local leave. This adds the word grandchildren to line 24 of the policies. Is the coverage to grandchildren that was not there before. So moved, Mr. Chairman.
Motion's been made to approve 5.303, personal and professional bereavement local leave on first reading. Is there any discussion? Hearing none, we'll vote. All those in favor of approving 5.303 on first reading, show by raising your right hand. 7, 4, and 0 against.
Number 9, alternative education, policy 6.319. Again, reflects legislative changes, TSBA recommended. So moved, Mr. Chairman.
Motion's been made to approve 6.319 alternative education on first reading. Any discussion? Hearing none, we'll vote. All those in favor of approving 6.319, show by raising your right hand. 7, 4, 0 against. 6.319 is approved on first reading.
The next one, number 10, policy 6.4001, student surveys, reflects legislative changes. TSBA suggested policy requires active parental consent for outside surveys. So moved, Mr. Chairman.
Motion been made to approve 6.4001 student surveys on first reading. Any discussion? All those in favor of approving 6.4001 student surveys on first reading, show by raising your right hand. All right, 7, 4, 0 against. Motion passes.
Number 11, 6.403 run, pediculasis headlights. This is proposed by Dr. Arnold, and I'll let him explain a little bit about why we're changing that now.
Sure. The old policy talked about exclusion of students for any type of infestation of headlights or nets. It's not anything that is not recommended by any doctor or any health board any longer. Just as, 15 years ago in school, whole room head checks were done and those type of things. That's just not something that we do anymore. And this is a recommended policy. This is a policy similar to counties around us and was taken from a local county, and just recommend that this policy be approved to help us with practices so that we're not excluding kids for long periods of time.
With that explanation, so moved, Mr. Chairman.
Motion been made to approve 6.4031 with the headlights on first reading. Any discussion? All those in favor of approving 6.4031 on first reading, show by raising your right hand. 7, 4, 0 against. Thank you all on that.
And that's it for the policies.
And that brings us to the budget amendments. We have general purpose fund 141, number 11, item number 1. It looks like this is to accept and allocate additional funds from the Tennessee Department of Education for transportation special education students. Is there a move on this?
So moved, Mr. Chairman.
Mr. Ibbotson has moved to approve budget amendment 141, number 11, item 1. Is there a second? Got a second from Mr. Jarnigan. Any discussion on this one? Hearing none, we'll proceed to vote. All those in favor of approving, budget amendment for general purpose fund 141, number 11, item 1, show by raising your right hand. That'd be 7-4 and 0 against. And there's no unfinished business, and that brings it down to new. And we've got the Jefferson Elementary as number 1, and then of course we have the number 2 special courses planning document. So, Jefferson Elementary.
Mr. Chairman,
Yes, sir.
I'd like to make a motion, please.
All right. Turn the microphone.
I've got a copy now, I'll hand it to you when I get through. I move to request from the county commission, $19,280,794. Utilize $5 million from fund balance and $3 million from the reserve account titled New Construction Jefferson Elementary for a total of $27,280,794 to build a new Jefferson Elementary School.
Is there a second on that?
I'll second it.
All right, Mr. Jarnigan, second. Any discussion?
I get to go first, right?
You get it.
6 minutes, right?
If you
Start a little history, and Bill, you correct me if I'm wrong on this, but does that look like, do all the math? In 2020, a motion was made to build a new Jefferson Elementary School. And then we hired and interviewed architects, you all have gone through that, you know what, then we hired the Lewis Group. Then the Lewis Group drew a schematic drawing, two-dimensional plans, and gave us a total cost for, I think, 77,000 square feet. I'm not sure on that one, because I think the second one had 6 more classrooms. I believe this is the same amount that they discussed last week in our work session. So, the total, I believe, again, this is memory, is 19.5. Now, if you heard my motion, then I'm requesting almost that amount from the county commission. It was done once before in 2020. We sit here 5 years later, we have nothing. And now then, to build that same school, it's gonna cost $8 million more of taxpayers' money that's coming out of our fund balance. $5 million of it that we could use for something else. But a new school is what is needed. Remodeling that school with the kids still in it frightens me dearly. And the foundation I'm quite concerned about, as you know from the last meeting. Now then, something else has come into play here that made me decide to make this motion, and that is the offer of land from the hospital. In the past, of course, some of you want to hear, Bill and I here, we know, a big sticking point was the fairgrounds. Back, right, Bill, back in the first motion, and I understand that. The fair has been a tradition in Jefferson County. Would decades be a good, I don't know, any fair people in decades. So a possibility exists now, and you notice I did not include in the motion the location of this building. So there's a possibility of solving a problem here. We could build a new school and buy that property, negotiate the price. I think they're a little high, you know, that's a starting point. don't quote me over there, newspaper guy. I saw you write that down. And then we, like you say, we could preserve the fairgrounds. I know the fairgrounds means a lot to a lot of people, and the kids in our schools that show off their products and the things that they do, and the livestock and all that stuff. It's just an East Tennessee tradition to have a fair. Now, I know we can drive, I can't use that word, to that traffic jam. We can drive to a traffic jam 30 minutes, 45 minutes here, and there's Ferris wheels, and there's go-karts, and you can find everything you can find in the fair, except that one aspect of the kids that are in our schools and just being able to show off, 4-H and ag and things like that. The pavilion over there, I think, is still intact. I don't know what kind of shape it's in. It's still usable, isn't it, right? And we could still have the fair and so on. So I guess when that land came into play, that's, I thought, give it one more shot and say, and preserve the fair. And, because it's just a Jefferson County tradition. And like I said, the number that requested from the county commission is really about the same number that it was 5 years ago. Nothing's changed, so we're making up the difference in inflation and COVID and all that stuff. So, I'll stop there.
I'd like to say something, but I can't say anything that's not already been said. The first prize to coach was $19.6 million.
Was it 19.6?
We've sat here and we've talked about this for 10 years and not done anything about it. I've heard comments after comments after comments. We can't do this, we can't do that. We can't do anything unless we start. I heard a comment made here a couple of weeks ago about you didn't want to take any money out of fund balance. We turned right around the next meeting and voted to take $10.4 million from our fund balance and put on these special projects that we want to do in our county. We can take what Coach Bradley has suggested, $5 million from our fund balance, and we will still have, what, $5 or $6 million?
Yeah, you have around 10.9 right now, so you'll have almost $6 million left.
We'd have almost $6 million still in our fund balance. Why, commissioners, can we not sit here and vote to do something? We elect 2 commissioners from my district. I'm in the 3rd precinct. We elect 2 from our district. That's me and Mr. Cameron. I feel like it's our obligation to support our school. Jefferson Grammar School, Mount Horeb School, and Talbot is in our district. And if we as commissioners can't support our own school, what are we elected for? I mean, it's common. Why are we here? I can talk from battle in the morning, but I can't say anything that's not been already said. It's a disgrace to treat the #1 city in our county the way we've treated them for the last 10 years over there. They deserve a school as well as anybody. We talk about, well, what are we going to do in the old school? I remember when they closed the old Maury Academy right here above the post office. The same question was asked, what are we going to do with that old school? What are they doing today with it? Go by there and look at it. You'd be mighty proud to see that old school. So, think about it, commissioners. Let's don't hesitate any longer, please. We can't, if we go through all this stuff that we've talked about in the last 2 years, I won't ever see a new school over there. I'll never live to see it. Please consider it.
Guys, I respect you all so much. I really do. Ewan's been on the board. Ewan's been on the board for, Lord,
Too long.
a long time. But, I mean, we're in discussion, are we not? How many times have we went to the county commissioners, asked them for money, and they turned us down because they want numbers of remodeling? Well, we've got them numbers of remodeling now. and we have numbers to build a new school. So, I agree, we've got to do something, but no matter how we vote, it's gonna be up to the county commissioners of what we get done. So, you know, do we say let's build a new school, or do we say let's remodel the school? I don't know, I mean, but I agree with you gentlemen, we need to do something. I do say that. So,
Pretty nice people all the time. Bill mentioned 10 years ago, the motion was actually made in 2011 to build a new Jefferson Elementary School and a White Pine School, your elementary White Pine School. And we had a good piece of property for that up there. The purpose back then was to get rid of the portables. We had portables here everywhere. I'm talking here. There was so many behind high school, people didn't know they were back there till they caught on fire. Fire department had to show up. But it was kind of response. Only thing I ask tonight, let the county commission make this decision on these numbers. And if they don't think it's so, I'm not making another motion. This is my last shot. Like I said, what brought this to my attention was availability of a piece of property where we could conserve the firewood. If that wasn't the case, I wouldn't be making this motion tonight, because it's just the same old drum, right? So we've got another option, a place to put the school, and now we can keep the fair going also, tradition. So if you agree or don't agree, I would like to see this at least get to the budget committee, and then we can get some ideas, and so on, and go from there. And if they turn us down, we've heard no before. And, I'm done. I really am.
Les, this is my second time speaking. You know,
I am definitely.
I know what they're gonna do when we go in front of them if this is passing. But I'm gonna say this, I'm gonna go with you. But if they turn us down, then I'm gonna make a motion next time to remodel. That's how I'm feeling right now. That's it.
So, how much is the land of the hospital? How many acres?
19.
19 acres.
There's 99 acres there, and they've, right now, we just drew a line. We just went on a map, drew a line, it came out 19 acres, and we sent an offer. So, to build a elementary school of that size, you would need a minimum of 8 to 10, depending on the land. So, you would need a minimum of 10 acres to build one.
I kind of agree with what Danny said. You know, I do think that they've been, over the years, we keep going back to the county commissioner, and we keep getting the same answer. Now that this time has kind of spiraled down here another 6 months since I've been on, and I start looking at the numbers of kids that we have in our school, and I look at how much it, you know, I know that we got a number of, I think it was 27, 28 is what you're trying to equal that all out to, somewhere in that range, is it in the motion? Do we know the numbers? Is that about 27, 28 million?
It's the exact amount that, 27 million.
200 feet.
Yeah, there you go. It's
But
the same amount that the Lewis Group.
What they quoted, okay.
Exactly.
But just through some of my questioning last, at the work session, this number's almost 30 million. It's 29, plus or minus a little bit. You say, well, we can add to it or whatever. I just keep thinking it's $30 million though, to build something that we already have. And as a county, we don't have money popping out our ears, and I don't think that I don't think it's very responsible of us to let a school just sit there for 10 years, do nothing to it. I mean, this is nothing but a big maintenance project. It's been dragging out for 5 years. And I think when we go to the county commission, I think we need to have this is what we're gonna do, this is what we want. I don't think they're gonna give us the money requested for a new school. With a lot of the sentiments I've heard from a lot of them, they're, you know, I think they're a little bit sore. And, I think that we need to, really think about, do we wanna spend $30 million on a building? I like bright, new, shiny stuff. I'd love to go out and buy a brand new truck. But I got an 8-year-old truck that had less than 100,000 miles, and you wouldn't know it wasn't brand new. And it didn't take me in debt over it. I just don't, I'm gonna have to be against it. I just don't see myself voting for something that's gonna cost $30 million to put this county in debt. Can I ask Ms. Elder something? If we were to go for $30 million, would that be something that they would be able to do without raising taxes?
I don't think we're asking the county for $30 million.
No, but I'm asking, if we went to them for $30 million, would they have to raise taxes?
For $30 million? That's not the motion though, or
Well, I know that, but I'm just asking a question.
Okay, well.
I mean, at some point, there has to be a point where they'll say, we need to do something, we don't have to just laying around.
So we don't have $30 million in cash in debt service available to just hand over currently.
I'd like to comment on that. You keep saying 5 million more than what's there. I've been on the board for 20 years, and I've seen a lot of projects done within our county, within our school system. To this day, there's only been one project that's went over budget when it was presented to us with a price, and that is White Pine School. Now that, you keep saying, we're gonna have to increase, we're gonna increase. If we get a price for $27.6 million, I bet you my bottom line, that's what it winds up at when we get that. And to add $5 million to it, that's just a figure to scare somebody. I don't see it that way. I just can't see it, and I can't see, you know, we're not asking for $30 million, we're asking for 19.6.
Yeah, $19,400,000 something thousand dollars, I don't know.
We've already got $10 million in our student fund balance, and,
I'll speak. If this had been next month, I might could have supported it. But the reason I can't support it is because Mr. Edmondson has been wanting to get and sit down with county commission for I don't know how long. And we're finally going to be sitting down with them in a couple of weeks and trying to hash out why this has not been done and some sort of solutions, hopefully, in our joint meeting. And to me, it's just like putting a cart full of horse. After that, we may know a direction they're willing to go and that we're willing to go. Whatever it is, they're going to be compromised somewhere. And like I said, if we had went through that little joint committee meeting and there was something from that, and this was presented in March, I could vote with it. But just right now, just because I feel like it's putting the cart before the horse, it's asking for money that we've asked for pretty much every year, and why do they keep turning this down? Maybe that's something that can come out of this meeting, and we can figure something out, so.
Mr. Iverson made the remark that we like to have a piece having a puzzle complete. We turned around and paid how many dollars to get Mr. Blankenship to give us an estimate how much it would cost to remodel that school here in the city. We have completed the puzzle. If you want to wait and let Tommy present this to the county commissioners at our work session, I have no problem with that. But we find an excuse every time we come up with something. We find an excuse to put it off, put it off, put it off. The puzzle's been completed.
Could we do that, please?
But
That Tommy,
But I think we need to have a vote so that we can ask Tommy to present to the commissioners when he meets with them which way to go. I don't think we just throw it on their table, wait.
Any more discussion on that?
Can I speak again? I spoke twice. but-
Well, I'll let you speak.
Thank you, sir. Very kind of you. It's Southern manners, right?
Sometime.
We can't say everything in two seconds. You talk about this county commission, school board meeting, I've sat through those, haven't we, Bill? Nothing comes of it. It just drops down to a quarrel. We did that with the high school. We went out there at that high school, 21 county commissioners, school board, we toured the building, done this, done that. You know, maybe my timing is wrong, but with burning daylight, I just feel like, you know, somebody mentioned remodeling, well, I don't wanna get into that, so it's just, I've made my motion, and there it is, I gave it my reasons, and, I think the county commission ought to have a look at this, and then, go from there. I was the presentation from the work session concerning remodeling gave me no answers, it just brought up more questions. And, that I need to be answered, that I would like to have some answers to. But anyway, I hope the meeting between the county commission and the school board will bring some results, and that will be great. I've said history, I've sat through them, and about, I don't know, once fight about broke out, you know, and, it's, anyway, I'm done, thank you, thank you,
Any more discussion?
Chairman, for letting me speak.
No problem.
One thing that I wanted to bring to the board's attention that has came up is, a couple of people have asked about, if Jefferson Elementary got remodeled, you know, what would this be or what would that be? Just various things. So I know Mr. Martin spoke about he would make a motion to remodel. I do want to caution the board about, right now we have a schematic design for an elementary school. We have no design work for a remodel. So, you know, before you move towards, Mr. Blankenship spoke to us about additional structural engineering would need to be completed. There would be, so somebody asked me what the addition would be or look like. So we have no clue yet of what any of that would be besides so much space or so much design work. So that's really in its infancy of being able to know what that would be.
All right. Anything else? All right, so the motion on the floor is a move to request from county commission $19,280,000, $280,794, utilize $5 million from fund balance and $3 million from the reserve account titled New Construction JES for a total of $27,280,794 to build new JES. All those in favor of that motion, show by raising your right hand. That's 3. All those opposed? 4. Motion fails, 3-4.
Mr. Chairman, I'd like to make a motion, please.
Yes,
I'd like to make a motion that Tommy present those figures, which are presented by Mr. Bradley, your county commissioners, and respond to us with an answer.
present figures to county commission. Is there a second?
Second.
Coach seconds. Discussion? All those in favor of having the director present the figures to county commission that was discussed in this previous motion. All those in favor of that, show by raising your right hand. That's 2, 4, all those opposed? That's 4. Abstain, all right, 1 abstention. All right. Brings us to number 2, special courses planning document. I'm humming over here. Is there a move to approve the special courses planning document? Move been made by Jenny, seconded by Paul. Any discussion? Hearing none, we'll proceed to vote. All those in favor of approving special courses planning document, show by raising your right hand. I got it. That'd be 7-4-0 against, so motion to approve special courses planning document, passes 7-0. All right, so that brings us to school commissioner input. I got a couple things. We got the board retreat on the 15th at 10 o'clock here at the courthouse. And Tommy has been getting some of the folks together at central office, some of the supervisors, and to help everybody out, get people more familiarized. They're going to, tell us a little bit about what they do, anything that's on their chests, heart, mind, to get off, do that. So that'll be Saturday, February 15th. For those of us on the PECA committee, we have a training session on February 18th at 4 o'clock, and I believe that's in person, or it can be on the Teams or something.
Yeah, he will be present. Bennett will be present that day, so there'll be. Did I give a location? I think we're finalizing that.
Yeah, but I believe Christie
Watkins.
she did say, of course, I'll still be at school, but she said, well, you can join online and everything. So that's the 18th for those folks on that PECA committee. And then the 20th, of course, is the joint committee meeting at 6:30 at the Patriot Academy with the county commission.
What day is that?
That's Thursday, February 20th at 6:30. We've got a couple items that'll be on the agenda, and Jimmy Carmichael, the chairman, he's got a couple items he wants to put on there, and we'll all just sort of meet down there at the Patriot Academy. So that's kind of what's coming up in February for us. Any other?
What time is that?
The joint committee,
Yes, sir.
6:30. And we also have, I'll let Paul talk about.
Yeah, we have the first meeting for the maintenance committee is February 25th, and that'll be at Mount Orb at 4:30. So the committee's already been formed. Look forward to it, and of course it's open to anybody to show up.
Any other?
There's been a special policy meeting called to reconsider policy 6.702 that which was the last one that we did not vote on this evening. Also on there will be a discussion to revise, add to the cell phone policy that we presently have in place. That will be here on the 24th before our next work session at 5:30. Anybody else, since we're having that meeting, it's not a special meeting, it's just another meeting that we called. We're anticipating there might be some policies that we might have to work on as a result of the voucher vote in Nashville. And anything that anybody else would like to bring, you're welcome to add that to the policy committee on the 24th. That's better for me.
I'd like to ask a question to the board members that oppose the building on a youth school in Jersey City. What do y'all want to do? All four of you speak at the same time, y'all do?
I spoke my piece, I wanted to talk to the county commission, see what they're willing to do.
But being a commissioner from the third precinct representing that school, what is the reason for not supporting that school?
What good is it gonna do to do the same thing over and over and over again and get the same result?
Well, we heard the comment before we had new officers, we had new county commissioners, we're gonna get the support, we want to support the school. Then we had to come out and comment, we get new school board members, we'll build a new school. We've got the same thing over and over and over, so what is the answer to the problem? I'd like to know. If I can do anything, I'd like to know what the answer to it is. Is it just my idea or the highway, or we're not happy with the price? Or if I can't do it, I don't want it done? Or what's the reason? Give us a reason. I mean, it's time to.
Anybody else? All right.
Actually, two things, and I'll answer your question in a second. The motion that's on the table, obviously there's a couple of us, maybe just a couple of us that weren't here at the time. I've never seen this motion. I don't know what the minutes had to say. Is there any way that we could revisit this motion?
Did you get one?
That we can revisit this?
Which motion is that?
The motion that's sitting on the table, building new
Oh, you mean the one from 2020?
Well, yeah, whenever it was made. I know it was way before I was on.
Yeah, I've never seen it either.
So you're saying the school board before you wasn't trustworthy, is that what you're saying? We made the motion. and
I
it's
sat
on
out
top.
there many times, and I'd say, yeah, that's a pretty good rendition of what I would say. I don't trust a lot of things that happened, that went on. I've got, last week,
I'm willing to work
listen,
with anybody like this.
so last week, we were told that we couldn't have a contract unless it was already funded, right? You have a contract from Lewis for a new school, that if it was funded, I promise you, 4 years ago, there'd be a new school right now if they'd had the funding. So how do they have a contract that's signed for a new school? Can someone answer that for me? This is my hands. That is gonna be, you can say 27 point whatever. I sat there and asked several questions that weren't included in their price, and it shot up to, it's about a $4.5, almost $5 million difference than what the Blankenship price was. I'm really struggling sinking my teeth into a $30 million bill for 600 seats that, I'm just gonna say, we already have out there. There's 2,000 empty seats. So, and I'm not saying something doesn't have to get done, but I don't think spending 30 million on a new school is the answer.
Look, I know we have the retreat next Saturday at 10 o'clock. I've sat in on the retreats before with the county commissioners, and it didn't go very well. All I'm asking everybody here is when we sit with them this time, let's try to work something out, guys. I don't care.
I'm willing to.
I mean, you know, let's hold our tempers, let's talk to them, let's see what we can do, because if we get upset, they get upset, we're right back to square one. So, you know, let's see what we can do next Saturday in this meeting, and let's go from there. So, that's it.
Motion to adjourn.
That one is, yes, that one is,
That's a retreat.
yeah. The joint committee is the 20th.
Okay.
20th, the
Okay.
joint committee's the 20th.
Excuse me, I was wrong.
There's a lot of them, 20.
Dr. Arnold, or maybe Rhonda is going to ask, could we get a copy of the agenda from the meeting where that motion was made? The motion that's, the standing motion to go to new school from 2020, and a copy of that, an actual copy of the contract. We have board members who were here. I wasn't there when the vote was done. Obviously, if I wasn't here, Mr. Hardy and Ms. Mayor weren't here. I think I've seen the contract, and I'd like to see the actual agenda, see the motion that was made.
Sure,
Thank you.
sure.
All right.
The motion that approved the contract, then that triggered the contract
Yes,
to build a school?
yes.
What's that? Oh, and the votes, well, that would be in the, that would be in the
In the
agenda.
minutes, yeah.
And the contract you all should have received in your email. November
November
24th.
1st.
November 24th, I believe, is when I sent it.
November first.
I think it's 24th, but okay.
All right. Motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Any second?